Hello learners, welcome to TryWrite. Today we will be learning a concept polymorphism. It consists of two words, poly which means many and morphism which means forms. Now in Java, polymorphism allows one action to behave differently based on the object performing it. It enables code flexibility, reusability and dynamic behaviors. Now coming further, the benefits of the polymorphism are code flexibility, reusability. The methods can be used for different types. The methods can be used for different type as we need. Like once a method is used for one purpose, similarly that method can be used for other purpose depending on the depending on their type of usage. And now it also performs runtime flexibility. The behaviors of different methods are decided at runtime only. So it provides runtime flexibility. Now coming to the interface integrations, it helps us in interface integrations. It can easily swipe it can easily swap different implementations forms. Now we have the type of polymorphism. We have the compile time polymorphism, which is stated as static one. This method it follows in method overloading when we have the same method name and different parameters where the parameters can be differentiated basis on the basis of difference in the parameters. And now during the runtime polymorphism, that is run dynamic polymorphism, it it goes with multiple overriding and upcasting. Here we have the parent reference and the child object. The in method overriding, we have the parent reference and child object. As one extent, parent class is extended by the child class. Now compiled during compile time polymorphism method, that is method overloading. Some method where we have same method name but different parameters within the same class. For example, here class calculator. Here we have a calculator class having the add functions with following parameters a and int b. Here the return type of this method is integer only. Return value is returned by return value of a and b. And now there is other method which has a double integer double data type. This method is having double data type and having the parameters two parameters which are of double type only. So the value will be returned value will be of double data type. So here it can be differentiated based on the data types that it follows. Here we are following integer data types. Here we are following integer data type, and here similarly we are forming double data type. So resolve the compiler based on the method signature, because we are passing integer value here, we are passing integer value here, we are passing integer value, integer type of parameters are there, and here double type of parameters are there. Yeah, so it can be resolved very much easily. Now during the runtime polymorphism, which is stated by overriding, subclasses present specific implementation. It provides a specific implementation of a method already in the superclass. Here overriding goes with the methods that are present in the superclasses. So here the animal which is having the void sound as a method, and this method is present in the parent class, that is animal, and the dog child class which is extending the animal class, child class dog which is extending animal class. So it will implement all the functionalities of its parents, it will extend all the functionalities of its parent. And this method is also having a method sound which is printing dog barks. Now we are forming an object of the parent class and calling this with the help of this dog which is a child class. We are forming a parent we are forming an object of the parent class with the help of this dog which is a child class. This dog child class, yeah. So we can call the parent class method we can call the parent class method as sound, a dot sound. And here we are forming the we are calling the child class, we are calling the child class method. This sound belongs to the child class. As this is a child class, so it can inherit all the functions and methods of the parent class, as it is extending its parent class which is animal. And a dot sound which belongs to the sound of the child class. So the output will be dog barks here. Yeah, resolved these are resolved by the JVM at the runtime during the running of the program, and involves upcasting. The child class, the parent class object is formed with the help of the child class superclass references pointing to subclass object. Here we can see that the superclass that is the parent class object, which was parent class object, which is pointing to the subclass object, subclass object that is of the child class. Parent class object, parent class object A, which is pointing to the subclass object that is of the child. Huh. Now coming to upcasting and downcasting. Upcasting. Upcasting is when a child class object is referenced by a parent class type. So it is safe. Because it's always allowed in Java. It is implicit, meaning all the cast operator, no cast operator is needed because the parent class will always be casted to the child class. The object still behaves like a child. The object still behaves like a child, but only when parent class members are accessible. The object still behaves like a child, but only parent class members are accessible, and no child class members here. Here parent class object P is having referencing to the child class, which is called upcasting. Here we are forming an object of the parent as P with the help of, we are referencing this with the help of child class object. This is upcasting. So we can see it with the help of example here as a parent class animal which makes sound system.out.println animal sound. Now this child class dog extends animal with a method bark. Yeah, so it can obviously have a method which has printing line dog barks. Now following the to the main class, to the main test class, yeah, which has a main method, which has a main method of Java, which has a main method line public static void main string args. Now we are forming an object of this animal class A, with the referencing this animal class A with the child class object dog, yeah, dog. This is upcasting. Here the parent class, we are making an object of the parent class, we are referencing with the child class dog. Huh. So we can call the methods of the parent class. A dot make sound. A make sound was in the parent class, so A dot make sound can be easily called. This is valid. Now this bark which is a method in the child class, it's not accessible because this is a parent class object and it cannot refer to a child class object. So it is not possible. Now downcasting, which is risky and explicit. Why? Downcasting is when a parent class reference is explicitly cast back to the child class type. A parent class object, a parent class reference is explicitly cast back to the child class type. This is risky. Why? Because you can explicitly cast the type. We can explicitly cast the type and can cause class cast exception. It can cause class cast exception as runtime if not handled properly. Suppose there is a child class C. There is a child class C, which is a object of the child class is C, and this child class is being, and this child is again casting to the parent reference class. Yeah. Now child class object, now child class having an object C is being casted to child class with parent references, which refers to downcasting. Here animal class animal. Here for example we have a class animal which makes sound, which has a function system.out.println animal sound. Now this dog class extends animals, and which has a method bark, which has a function system.out.println dog barks. Now having the main class which is having the main method of Java main method as public static void main string args, and which is having a this is having a animal class object A, with the help of referencing to the dog object of this, which upcasting, which we can see and easily found out that is upcasting because animal class object is being referenced by a child class object. Now this animal class object, now dog D, which is a child class object, is being referenced to an animal class object, to an animal class object, which is upcasting. We are forming an child class object. We are forming a child class object, referencing it with the object that is found by a that is already found by a parent class, referencing it to the already found by a parent class object. So it is downcasting. Now coming to this d dot bark, this is not valid. This is not valid. Why? Because d dot bark, bark which lies, this method lies in the child class. This method lies in the child class. We cannot exhibit any operations that is being referenced to a child class object. So which is so valid. This is child class object. Yeah. So d dot bark, d dot bark. We are forming an object of child class that is d, and we are calling the method of d bark, which is followed by which is exhibited by the child class, which is exhibited by the child class here. So this is valid. This is valid. This is valid. Yeah, this is valid. Why? Because d, which is the which we can downcasting. We are casting his here the animal class object with the referencing to the dog class first, and this animal class object is now being downcasted to dog to the child class reference d. So we can call child class again. Now coming to the polymorphism and interface renewable. Interface is renewable. We know that they are interface renewable. There is an interface renewable which has a void draw, which has a method void draw. Now class cast implements drawable. Now class circle, this will be implementing drawable, which will be following all the functions and methods that will be allowed in drawable. So public void draw, which has a function such as out println circle drawing circle. Now we have a class class rectangle which implements drawable again, and now which has a method draw. Now which has a system which has a function of printing drawing rectangle. Now we have the main test class. We have the main test class which has the main Java main method line as public static void main string args. Now drawable D, now we will be forming a object of this drawable which is the interface, which is an interface. Drawable which will be forming an object of drawable D equals new circle, which will with the help of new circle type. Huh. So d dot draw output can be easily seen. Because why? Because this we are forming an object of the parent class d, which is with the help of the subclass, which is with the help of subclass circle. So we can call the output of the circle d dot draw output drawable circle. It will be very much easily printed here. Now polymorphism in real time. Polymorphism in real time. ATM. Some ATM interfaces, ATM interface different bank behaving different behaviors. We have a ATM belonging to SBI. We can also take the money out of that SBI bank through this SBI ATM, through this Union Bank ATM and Axis Active ATM and different ATMs respectively. So this ATM is an interface. So ATM belongs to an interface have performing actions based on different ATMs, performing the same action based on the different ATMs. Now remote control. Some buttons control TV and AC use based on devices. There can be remote control. This remote control can be worked for a TV or an AC or basis of different devices. This remote can work for different parameters. Now following to the what polymorphism is not. Polymorphism cannot do some things. What is it? Constructor overloading. A polymorphism is not inherited. Constructor overloading cannot be polymorphism cannot be inherited. In constructor overloading, we cannot inherit polymorphism. In static methods also we cannot inherit the method hiding. That is true overriding. We cannot in static methods we cannot perform true overriding, because the methods are static and so no overriding cannot be performed. Static methods, because static methods cannot be overtaken by other classes. They belong to the particular class only. Now overriding and overloading and overriding. Now what can be the differences between them? Overriding, the types. Overriding, overloading. We done at the time compile time. We can be done at the compile time only, and overriding can be done at the runtime. This states that overloading we can overload means we can during the compile time we can have one 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 method, two or more methods having different parameters, and that can be compiled during the compile time. All this can be uh, operated very much easily, and during the runtime overriding can be operated. We know this very well. Now coming to the classes, overloading can be performed in the same class and overriding to a different class. Performing overloading we have the same class, and overriding can perform if they we have two or more classes. As one method of one class can be overridden by a method of other class. Now signature. Now signature, that is the method for overloading. We have they must differ as they have different parameters. So the signature also differs. And overriding, they must have the same parameters. For overriding, the method name and the parameter is required to be the same. That's why it must be same. In static or private method can be overloaded but cannot be overloaded. So we can see that static or private method can be overloaded. Why? Because they have the same method name and different but different in parameters, but the same method name but difference in parameter, and they cannot be overridden. Why? Because for a static method cannot be overridden. Why? Because static method complies to a single class and cannot be called to other class or different class. The method belongs to the classes only here in static type. Common in, Now coming to the common interview questions, what is polymorphism and the difference between polymorphism and overriding, and can you override static methods, and what is dynamic method dispatch, and what is the role of inheritance of operators in polymorphism. These are the interview questions which are generally asked. And now hands-on practice. For hands-on practice, we can go through the following programs and perform differently and find out the output. So here we come to the end, and now we can we have finally found the explanations very much easily and seen the various actions and behaviors performing here. Now the differences between overloading and overriding, and why method overloading is compile time, and why method overriding is runtime and upcasting of the different types. We have seen this very easily here. Now thank you. Move on to the we will meet in the next class.